When I was young, all people say to me, congratulations to you because of your uncle Mansour Labaky when he was a priest. Congratulations with your uncle, congratulations, your uncle Mansour Labaky. I wasn't able to say anything because rape happened behind closed doors. I was raped from person I call him father. I used to call him father. Since then, neither a priest nor a patriarch nor bishop nor a brother, I call him father. Mansour Labaky in the 70s, he was with his high of his glory. He was a writer, composer, and renewal of the Maronite liturgy. We all grew up in his hymns. We were all impressed by his music. We all admired his personality, with his help, with the way he speaks, with doing good. For us, Mansour Labaky, he was the Maronite Church. This was Mansour Labaky. This is the glory that he was surrounded by. We all hope that one day we would meet him or be in his parish or listen to a mass that he celebrated. During the Christmas period in 1984, the nuns decided to take us to the parish of Mansour Labaky to see what does it mean, the new priest in a spiritual sense, what the new hymns means. When we entered the church at Mansour Labaky, he welcomed us into his parish. There was an atmosphere of music. He had the confession chair on the altar. This was new for us because we usually confess behind the curtain. In my way, I went to the altar and I tried to confess. I did not know what I was going to say. I was confused. Without knowing it, I told him my weakness. What was my weakness? I was very afraid when my late father had a stroke and he was forbidden to eat salt. When we were at the dinners once, I took the salt from his hand. I was very afraid of my late father to die. I took the father, don't eat salt. If you eat salt, you'll die. If you want to die, let us live in peace. These are the last words I said to my father. The guilt I had when I was 13 years old, it was terrible. Automatically, when I was confessing, I said that my father and mother are separated. I live with my mother, my grandfather, and my grandfather. My father usually he traveled abroad to work. This is what I said. What happened is that Mansour Labaky told me, inside you is beautiful like your face. For that reason, I want to visit you at your home. These are the words were imprinted in me without understanding their meaning. I did not know what he meant, where he wanted to reach. I returned to my place. I remember a lot this moment. I was living discomfort. I did not know why. I did not know what happened. I was thinking that there was this discomfort resulted from a confession because I did not accustomed to confession. I thought this discomfort resulted from the confession I did. If we want to really call it confession, because I did not have any guilt that my parents were separated. This is what I left. He created a difficult problem with me and my mother. He did a scenario that I am your only solution. I understand how do you bear your mother. Your mom is a big problem. I am between the guilt toward my late father. My God, I have a problem with my father, my mother. I did not know he was the one who created. I said, thanks God I have Uncle Mansour, at least he understands me. I told my grandma, my grandfather, my uncle, and aunt that Mansour Labaky is going to visit us. He's going to and I see they start laughing and joke with me a lot. You really believe that he's gonna visit you? And then Mansour Labaky arrived at the house and knocks on the door. It was a big surprise that Mansour Labaky, Father Mansour Labaky, visited us at home. It was like the visit of Jesus Christ. Since he is the spiritual director, everyone in the family speaks to him privately. But because I am a problem, my mother knows that he speaks to me privately, so why am I the problem? And he finds solution. The trust that he usually gets used to reach another intent, he was able to reach it in a very few minutes. He was able to reach the hearts of my grandma, my grandpa, uncles and aunts in a few minutes. And here Mansour Labaky started preparing the way he hugged me. He hugged me very tight on his body to feel my breath on his chest, and very tight. You feel everything. And then he forced me to kiss him on the mouth. And he said, open your mouth. He began to prepare the way with his understanding and knowledge. I want to be your father. The father treats his daughter in a great tenderness. Don't think that something's going to happen between us. Don't worry. I understand you. You should not feel any guilt. I throw your guilt on me and I will throw it in the garbage. He has become like something like hypnosis. He called me once and said, prepare yourself. I want to go with you to Harissa to visit. Because I am a sinful person. I want to repent. But I am in love with you, but I cannot marry you because I became a priest before I met you. I want us to go to Harissa. I will absolve you from your sins, and you throw your sins on me. I am Jesus Christ. You are Mary Magdalene. I said to him, okay, I will ask my grandma if I can go with you to Harissa. We will see. In the room of my parent, there the confession took place. He lay down on the bed, opened his shirt and pants, and then forced me. The rape happened at that time. I still remember very well. As much I was shocked and afraid, the word no didn't come out from my mouth, but the word no in French came out from my head. I remember no in my head. The explosion in my head of no, it wasn't coming out from my mouth. After that, he acted normally, as nothing had happened. He considered himself that he did not do anything wrong, not even one time. He told me I will arrive after half an hour. He arrived, and then I found myself not in Harissa. I found myself in a house in Antiliès, and then I knew there was a secretary of his. It was not that big. We entered. He dragged me by my hand into the bedroom, and here the full assault took place. At that time I was absent. I was not present. There was a strong shock, trauma, and this type of trauma, schizophrenic, happened. And this, I discovered that later when I start describing the situation I lived in. At that time, I discovered that it's called trauma. When I lived it, I did not know what I was living. I was only living the experience, the bad, very bad. I did not know put a word. I did not know how to express the meaning, the things, psychologically, physically, I was going through. To say, to tell somebody in my family, in the ordinary community, or anybody in Lebanon, it was impossible. First of all, he is Mansour Labaky and I am Celeste Akiki. He was very well known. Everybody divinized him. Secondly, in 1975, the war had begun. In in Lebanon. I told myself that the Christians are in a very difficult situation. If I say something, Christians will attack me. Before they know if it's true or not, automatically they will attack me. The nuns of the monastery of the Cross, they love Mansour Labaky a lot. If I say something in one phone call, he would tell them Celeste is crazy, she must be locked up in Deir Salib. It was very clear. I would have spent all my life in Deir Salib. I knew this was wrong. I was no way somebody to say to Mansour Labaky at that time in this situation minor. I could discuss this issue with him. What I was afraid of, that at that time my uncles would decide with this mindset, they would take their revenge in their own hand, because it was the way they thought, and they do something in him, they pay its price all the rest of their lives. This was my fear. For that reason, I didn't speak, I didn't tell, I did not have anybody to talk to. That's why I remained silent. At that time, he called me back. I saw him about in 2 years 10 times. Every time it was a sexual request, it was a sexual service he's asking. Not even one time he came to the home to visit, only the first time from the 10 out of 10. He went to France. I called then the parish. I was 16 years old. I called the parish to know where he is. They told me he is in his way to the airport going to France. And here I woke up and realized how much I was under his influence of magnet and the fist of Mansour Labaky for 2 years, how much he tricked me, how much he abused me, how much he used me as a chewing gum. When its taste is gone, he spit it out. This is the images at that time coming to my mind. The anger I supposed to have to myself, I did not feel safe. I couldn't be angry at my uncle. I should be angry at myself. The hate, I should hate. Hate him, I hate myself. I hated myself. I put myself in a situation I wasn't in the past, wasn't in a position that was safe to be able angry. He is very famous. I could not, it's not safe to hate him and be angry at him. What happened in 2011, I was in Italy. I heard about rapist priests, molesters, priests. My uncle, it showed up that he was raping the orphans in the orphanage. He found it in Caen, Normandy, France. Some people there were with him 100%. They were trying to find a lawsuit to sue him. They remembered that he was used to tell him, I have a niece, her name Celeste, and she's crazy. If she called, hang up. They used to say that about her. Is it possible that he could have raped her, or he doesn't want us to believe? They sent me a note that if this happened, can you testify? I said, sure. I went to Rome. I went to the congregation of the Doctrine of Faith. Once I went with the second victim, Lebanese. Twice I went alone. I spoke with the head of the congregation of the Doctrine of Faith more than 10 times over the phone. I spoke with the secretary of the Pope, Parolin. I sent him more than 4 or 5 letters documented with pictures, with everything I was able to get. I spoke with Charles Jude Shikluna, who is now the advisor in the congregation of the Doctrines of the Faith. I spoke to Joseph Peteri, who was the apostolic nuncio in Lebanon. I spoke with Bishop Paul Abdesater. All of it, I recorded voice. Why? Because I do not have a trust in the clergy. I will contact you if you don't have know anything. You let me know. Sure. If something happened, I'll let you know. Thank you so much. Welcome. I put all my focus on in this case because I felt the pain of every person, every woman who couldn't express this pain, doesn't put a name to it. She doesn't put a title to it. She doesn't know how to express it. I had to talk about this sexual rape only. I had to sexual abuse because my concern was he should be judged. This was the most important thing, that he should be stripped from his priesthood. I said this when this happened, then I could speak how he abused the victim, how he exploit the sacrament confession. He exploit her weakness. He exploit what making her weaker than she was. Why did I insist that Mansour Labaky would be stripped from his priesthood? Because the priesthood in Lebanon is sacred and protected. It's a protection. It's a metaphor of power, for authority. Who dares to approach the priest? I remember how many people told me you wouldn't be able to defeat Mansour Labaky. I remember when I was raped the first time, when I was 14 years old. Mansour Labaky, the sexual offender, didn't say the last word on my life. I was 14. Now I'm 59. And all of these years, I felt like I haven't lived my personal life yet. I decided to take my life in my hands and work on it. He didn't break me. He wasn't able to break me. I was depressed. I was hurt, but I rebuilt. The solution is the Lebanese court believe us. Why do we have to believe? If we know we will be attacked this way in Lebanon, and with Labaky and his supporters, why do we have to lie? We would be idiot to lie. The objective of Mansour Labaky to destroy us. His objective is to make us one-way ticket to hell. Because he didn't imagine that we able to face him. I want to tell Mansour Labaky that the sexual offender, I hope that one-way ticket to the prison, sooner or later.